Hey guys, this is Pradeep, and this is one of the many videos, one of the many training videos we have on seleniumframework.com. This video, what we're going to explain is the keyword-driven framework. So in our previous sections, we talked about data-driven framework and how we can implement a data-driven framework with Excel and YAML formats. So we would be building on top of it, meaning the data-driven capability would still exist in this framework, and then we would add this extra capability, which is a keyword or a module, right? And so if you're looking at this video at the top of this page or in this section, you might have already read the details in terms of what is the concept behind a keyword or a module. It's a block of functionality, and we assign it a name, and so we kind of go ahead and use it. And we discussed about two types of modules or keywords. One which is extremely technical, like a click or a set, or another one is more of a business level keyword. And we kind of alluded to the point that we would prefer business keywords because that is more readable and that would make more sense. So here we're going to look through the project. So once you check out the project, right, from my GitHub, the link is posted on the page as well, and import it into your RubyMine. The project structure would look like this. In my case, I imported to C Git projects modular framework. So the structure, as you see, it's the same. The features folder would have a keyword-driven.feature, and then the support folder now would have an extra folder by name modules, and this is where all of our modules or keywords would reside. In our example here, I have one module, business modules, but you can add as many as you want. Okay. I'll explain each of the code inside the files, but let's first look at the overall folder structure. The lib folder, as we have seen, the data-driven framework as well, would have config, and the config would have a data folder, and the default data would be loaded from default.yaml, and of course you can override it. We have already seen options in data-driven framework. The object repository would be the same, whatever we have been using in data-driven framework. We would maintain our HTML locator information here, and the data helper would pretty much help us load the data. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's put some focus on the business modules, because that's the purpose of this keyword-driven framework, right? So I'll go ahead and define a module called keywords, and here what I go ahead and do is I define three methods. One is a visit. So if you look at it, visit, essentially what it does is it just implements the browser.go to URL. So all we are doing here, if you look at sign in, right, sign in has clubbed all these operations of clicking on the sign in text and then setting the username, password, hitting the submit button, and expecting, right, sign out to be present. All of this is clubbed into one method now. So this is essentially what we are calling a keyword or a module-driven framework, right? This is a very simple example. However, in your real-time projects, you might mix and match, spread these modules across multiple files, and so on and so forth. For now, we are learning, right, what is a keyword-driven framework and what is the pattern overall. So we are looking at the pattern from a high-level perspective. Okay, the env.rb, right? It's pretty much the same. The difference is now we add the module keywords to the Cucumber world. Okay, and let's go and take a look at the feature file, right? So here what I'm planning to do is I want to do a successful login, right? I want to hit the automationpractice.com website and use my credentials to log in, right? The unsuccessful login, again pass in the wrong username and password, and then eventually one scenario where I would like to open the Automation Practice website, click the contact customer service with order reference, and so manually if we go ahead and take a look at it, right, it will look something like this. We hit the automationpractice.com. Seems like I'm already signed in. Let me sign out, and so this is the home page, right, automationpractice.com. Let me go ahead and redo this. Once I hit the home page, the first scenario is clicking on sign in button and entering the username and credentials, right, username and password, and then hitting the sign in button. The second scenario is exactly the same, just that the username and password are wrong ones, so the scenario should fail. The third scenario is clicking the contact us button and filling this form and hitting send. Okay, that's what we do. Let's look at the step definitions now. If I go behind, right, all right, so let me go ahead and so the first when I open, right, you can see that all it does is it calls the module visit by passing in the value of the URL. We have already seen, you know, visit method in turn calls browser.goto. So if you go back here, now the second one, which is I log in using credentials, again it calls the keyword or a module sign in, and it passes in username and password. The third one, contact customer service, all it does is it contacts customer service, order, reference. That is all. So if you look at the test steps overall, it contains just one-liners, right? Visit, sign in, contact customer service. The implementation, the real implementation of this code is inside the modules, right? We are just calling the module. So if we look at the readability of this is extremely readable, right? You know what is happening. You're visiting a URL, you're signing in, and you are contacting customer service, and of course you're passing in the values whenever each of these business level keywords are called. Okay. Now let's go ahead and, you know, execute this and see what's the output, so that you know when you know what to expect when you run it on your machines. Now first what I'm going to do is I'm going to run just the first scenario. So I'll right click on the first scenario, hit run. Right, what we expect here is a successful login, so this scenario should pass. Okay. All right, so scenario here seems like it passed. Okay, there you go. Took 16 seconds and one scenario passed. Let me go ahead and execute the entire feature file. So what would I do if I have to execute the entire feature file? Two options, right? Either you can right click here on the feature file and say run, or you can select here and then say run. Okay. So that's the first scenario, as you can see, that passed. The second scenario was using wrong user credentials, so you know, it should fail with an RSpec expectation, right? There you go, it has failed with an RSpec expectation, which we have baked in the keyword with the expect method. The third one is hitting the contact us button and then filling in the form, right? All right, so let's go and take a look at the results, right? It's the same. Whenever it fails, right, there is a screenshot. We see where it failed, right? On this page it has failed. Then let's go ahead and take a look at the results.html, right? If I go ahead and take a look at the results, it says 3 scenarios, right? 1 failed and 2 passed. And the place where it failed, right, it will highlight here. It has failed on the expected text because it was not able to log in, and so obviously it wouldn't find the sign up button in the second case. Okay. Now let me go ahead and you know, before I close this video out, I'm a big fan of command line, right? So I'd like to execute this from command line. So what I do is I say copy path, right? I do a CD and then, right, and then do a clear screen, and then what I do is bundle exec cucumber features, right? Features folder contains only one feature at this point, so it's going to execute only that one feature file. If there were multiple, obviously it would execute more. So let me go ahead and execute this from command line. Okay, this is the first scenario, a successful pass. You can see it's all green. Okay, the second one should fail. We expect it to fail. And the third one again should pass. So anyways, that's it for this video. Just to wrap it up, we implemented a keyword-driven framework pattern here, and we defined modules or keywords, and we clubbed group of operations or block of functionality into a keyword, and in our step definitions we just called the keywords by passing in the right values. We have built on top of existing data-driven framework. So in case you would like to use data provided by a data-driven framework, obviously I would encourage you to go to seleniumframework.com, right? The data-driven, and if you hover on tutorials and go to frameworks and beyond, that's the section you would find data-driven framework. So go ahead and take a look at it, read it if you would like to use data from an Excel or YAML or an XML or JSON, any of those formats. Okay. All right. Thank you guys. Thanks for watching this video. We will catch up again soon.